The Arizona Cardinals getting ready for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. One of the bigger things in this game, Wolf, is going to be having that multi-dimensional offense that I felt like they certainly had in week 2 against the Rams. I felt like to a certain extent they had it in week 1. It wasn't as multi-dimensional against Detroit.
No, it was not, and it's not for a lack of effort. There's no doubt about it. I went back and I watched the tape, and just watching guys play, there's no denying it was brutal and it was physical, and the effort was there on the line of scrimmage. You just got to play well as well. It's not just about the physicality. It's not just about the effort. It also has to be about technique and ultimately winning. Winning individual. Winning on a play. It's like a wide receiver who gets out and splits out wide and a corner walks up over him. Sometimes a wide receiver coach is going to say, gotta win. Gotta win. Or maybe it's a punt return that you're actually looking at. Your special teams coach is going to put the dot on you and say, okay, you're lined up over this guy on the punt team. Win. You gotta win yourself. You do your job. And that's where it broke down. A guy would break down here, a guy would break down there, and suddenly the whole play is messed because they broke down.
And Detroit's the kind of team that will expose, any mistake for the most part. Not like Detroit played a perfect game either, but if you make a couple mistakes against Detroit, you're probably going to pay for it. They did. And even if they had come back and won that game, like let's say 23-20, we'd probably be talking about it being a win almost defense first, because that's kind of what it was. Now, like you said earlier, the defense made mistakes, but also played great. It was that sort of game. The offense, though, just really, they had that opening drive, which I thought was a great response to Detroit's opening drive, and they never got in the end zone again. And I know Detroit's got a good defense. I get it. Detroit may have one of the best defenses when all is said and done, but I look at this Cardinals team and think the games that they win by and large are going to be because of their offense, and the offense let them down on Sunday. I don't think there's any way around that.
Yeah, once again, it'd be interesting to see if they ever get the opportunity to play the Lions again, exactly what that would look like.
I'd sign up for that.
I would as well.
Because it obviously means a playoff game.
Well, a playoff game, and you could see it. Maybe the 7th seed. Paul Calvisi was talking about this just yesterday, as a matter of fact. The 7th seed, and then maybe the Lions are going to be the 2 seed. Oh, here we go.
And then we beat them in Motown.
Right. So Aaron's on board.
I remember this conversation because it vividly brought me back to Sunday being at State Farm Stadium and the Lions fan next to me that kept hitting me in the face with their flag when they stood up to cheer.
Okay.
That's
so it's personal, I guess.
Fun experience right there.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I would sue.
Well, did you say anything to him, Mel? Did you tell him to sit down?
No.
No. Okay.
I didn't.
Well, that's all right.
Did you give him a look at least?
But I wanted to punch him in the face.
Okay.
See, this is how fights start in NFL stadiums, which happen all the time. I had 4 in a section
Why
one time.
Why so malicious, Mel?
Well, they were sitting there, and even with the Kyler where he scrambled to try to get that first down, they're like, oh, they're not showing it. And I finally looked at them, and I was like, well, would you show it in your stadium?
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Can't you just see Aaron looking away from them and just staring forward like somebody's going to pay for this?
I'm not a good loser.
Okay. All right. What was Josh saying to you?
Well, actually,
or was he wearing Honolulu blue?
He was originally sitting next to them.
Okay.
And then I decided to sit next to them because I felt like it was probably better if I would.
That seems like a huge mistake.
This is great. Okay.
All
We're getting the inside scoop on what was
Meanwhile,
going
my
on
mom
with
was like,
Mel.
I'll sit by them.
That might have, I don't know.
Okay, so your mom is there too.
And so is my dad.
Okay, wow. All right.
And somehow
this
you
is
got
good,
stuck
Mel.
sitting next to the...
Well, just half the game.
That would have been plenty. The second half? Because the second half was...
Because it matters.
Yeah, it does matter.
Yeah, the second half where the Cardinals defense played so much better.
Yeah, but the offense didn't do anything. So, either way.
So show trip to Detroit.
Yes.
If they make the playoffs
boy.
and they play Detroit.
Whoa.
Well, you'll be there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if that happens.
But we'll bring Cardinals flags and sit in the stands.
Okay, that'd be,
Revenge.
protect yourself.
Revenge served 4 months from now, basically.
Okay, yeah. What were we talking about before we got distracted by the fact that Mel almost brawled over at State Farm
Imagine, hey,
Stadium?
where's our producer? Oh, she's not here today because she got in a fight. Here's Jonathan Gannon on Burns and Gambo yesterday talking about the lack of a run game for the Cardinals and whether or not it was a personnel issue.
I don't think so. Okay. I think it's a little bit of a alignment assignment, key and technique, like I said, pad level. Leverage, and I will say I don't want to discredit Detroit. That's a good front,
sure.
And they're a good football team. That's a good defense. But we got to do. There's no question. We got to do a better job in the run game.
Yeah.
You said this earlier. Well, if they did protect Kyler, which is somewhat remarkable considering Detroit has Aiden Hutchinson and the Cardinals are down to their third string right tackle.
Yeah, Jackson Barton. I thought he played his butt off.
Yeah,
I did. I thought he played with everything he possibly could. And once again, the Cardinals were trying to do things to mitigate Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, but as a team, they did it for the most part.
But they did it for the most part right there. No doubt about it. Once again, it was weird because we've seen the Arizona Cardinals run the ball on good rush defensive teams. We have seen them do this. Yet here it was, the Lions. And coming into this game, it was on the line of scrimmage, and you and I had been talking about it all week long. The fact that the Lions were elite. Number 4 in rushing yards per game allowed. Number 4 in rushing yards per play allowed. You put those two things together, you are what you are. And the Lions were an elite defensive front. Now, they didn't have Alex Anzalone. They didn't have him because of the concussion that he suffered the week before, but they have those defensive linemen played really, really well. McNeil is a guy that's got to be reckoned with, of course, and DJ Reader as well is a very, very good 3 technique.
Here's more from Jonathan Gannon on whether or not the Cardinals can win games this season without the run game really producing.
Yeah, I think we need to be able to win all types of different games by how the defense decides to play you. And that's always a work in progress, and that at times throughout the game that can change too. You know what I mean? So depending on the score and the time still left and all those things. But yeah, I absolutely do. I do think we can. I don't think we want to. I think, to be balanced, I think, is the way how we should play offense and win games. So we'll always try to find that balance and that consistency. But if teams sell out to stop the run, we got to be able to throw it to win the game. If teams sell out to stop a couple of receivers, we got to be able to run it to win the game. So that's always needed for every team to me.
There it is right there. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. We have to become whatever we need to be in order to beat you. Never forget that. It is such a strength that coaches will not become dogmatic on what they need to be. We're going to be this or nothing else. It's not the way to do it. Now, when you want to talk about strategy, when you talk about big picture, you want to be physical. You want to be the most physical team in the league. That's great. But you also have to be able to throw the ball. You got to be able to do it all. Whatever situation you're faced with in order to win the game. And if that means you got to go 10 personnel and you got to spread the field and you got to throw the ball and go down the field and score a touchdown to win the game, you got to be capable of doing that as well. Balance is what you shoot for, what you hope for. But you got to be able to do it all.
It's weird to see the Cardinals get outrushed 187-77, and 45 of the 77 were Kyler Murray. Shocking that they got outrushed by Detroit. No, Detroit's got 2 really good running backs, and they have really good run defense. But it was just
their offensive line is incredible.
Yeah.
Do you know they got 4 number 1s on their offensive line?
Well, yeah. I mean, it took Detroit a little while to build this.
And their left guard, Glasgow, was drafted in the 3rd round. Add those to get 5 guys. 7 rounds between those 5 guys.
And the 4 first-rounders play like first-rounders.
Oh, my gosh.
They have done that. I mean, you see some of these other teams, look at the Bears or even the Colts in that game. Like, they didn't build up their offensive line. Now they have young quarterbacks who are just scrambling all over the place, Chicago in particular.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.